get into before we get into like the weekly shows and stuff. I want to get into Japanese wrestling and what you're into, because I am and
like,
me and Galir are very
yeah.
very uneducated about like New Japan and like basically that whole other world of wrestling, right? So the most we see is like Forbidden Door and so, you know, some of that stuff, which I know is just like very cherry picked, but I know like the G1 is happening right now. I don't even know what the G1 is. So please explain and educate us a little bit, because I'm very curious.
I got you. You know, I was recently on another podcast and I was their young lion pretty much. I was here to inform the old heads about what's going on.
The young
and
boy.
how the young generation feels. So I'll keep you up to date here.
So this is the same situation where the old people here and we're like, what's that?
Yeah, we got two grandpas over here, and I gotta tell them what's what about the new generation. So the current G1 is G1 Climax 34. I think the field is 20 deep. So everybody, it's split into 2 blocks, so 10 and 10. Everybody will wrestle everybody in their block. So
kind of like the Continental Classic.
Yes, it's pretty much kind of exactly like that. But their stakes are a bit different, and so they go off a point system, same way with Continental Classic, but their stakes at the end, whoever wins gets a shot at the IWGP World Title at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, which is their biggest show, like by far. Right. So it's like if you win this, you're set up for the next half a year to build to that Wrestle Kingdom, and you know it's kind of, and sometimes be a little clear about who's going to win and stuff, and you know that's something. But a lot of the time, you'll spend the rest of the year, you'll defend the briefcase. Naito carried around a tote bag last year, but you'll defend it at least once throughout that time. It's become kind of a trend the last few years, and but yeah, it's the biggest tournament really. Like mostly because the Continental Classic is big, but it's not like the G1 because it doesn't have the history, it doesn't have all this, and the G1 is known for great matches. And I mean, this year we've gotten at least one great match. I'm not all the way through night 2 yet, but we've gotten at least one great match that was like, this is G1. This is what it's all about. Like everybody wrestling at their highest levels and bringing their best out of everybody, you know? So,
and that's
very prestigious.
I feel like from my outside perception of like New Japan and like Japanese wrestling as a whole, I feel like that's kind of like their thing. Like it's just like they're here to wrestle at their like highest level. And I was saying earlier, I was trying to find the one New Japan show I watched maybe like 6 or 7 months ago, because I remember watching one, or I like had it off to the side, but honestly I couldn't remember which one. TJP was in it, that's all I remember. And that does not narrow. Yeah, no. That does not narrow it down.
It might have been one of the US shows. It might have been one of their.
And I just remember watching one of the matches. It wasn't the TJP match. It was 2 guys I never heard of, and it was just like, just pure, just 2 dudes wrestling. Technical, you know, strong style, like incorporating all these styles, and just like the audience too is like so engaged. Like they're very quiet, but it's not like awkward. Like when an audience is quiet in an American crowd, it's like, you know, something's wrong because they're not engaged. But like in Japan, I feel like the crowd does
engaged.
The crowd does get like loud at times, but like it's a different kind of energy when they're quiet. It's not like bad.
It's very respectful.
It's very respectful. Thank you.
Bill Murray recently did a show in Japan, and he was on an interview. The band, not the comedian.
Yeah, you got to narrow it down. Bill Murray, the band.
Bill Murray, the band. They were in Japan doing a show. They were at a festival there, and he said it was such a culture shock because they were on stage playing their songs, and the crowd's just like, because they're just so engaged. And he's like totally different from America, like completely different, engaged in what they're watching. So I feel like, you know, New Japan wrestling is like a very similar vibe to that, because that's the culture over there.
Andre the Giant won this shit one year. Also, sorry, I'm just looking at the list of winners, and Inoki's on there like 16 times.
He won a few times.
Hulk
Tanahashi's
Hogan
on there a few times. Yeah, Hulk Hogan won it. There was a lot of like, it was back in the era where it was more common for like WWF folks to go over to Japan for a bit and all that stuff, because it was like it was just a big deal to get over in Japan. It was seen as like the pinnacle of wrestling a lot more there. So it's, you know, It was very it was big time, like Vader in Japan, like all that other stuff. It's very iconic.
The one New Japan show that I watched a couple months ago was the one where Will Ospreay came out in his Assassin's Creed outfit. I forget which show that was.
That could have even been Wrestle Kingdom.
It might have been. I think it was.
I think it was Wrestle Kingdom.
I think Mox was also in a triple threat, and he came out as Red Hood. Yeah, okay.
It was a triple threat. It was Mox versus Ospreay versus Finley.
Okay.
For the it was for their second belt, like the one underneath the IWGP heavyweight belt.
So yeah. I literally watched because Will Ospreay came out in an Assassin's Creed outfit. That's my favorite game. So I was like, okay, I'll watch this.
He's got a tattoo on his arm. Even.
He does. Yeah. But yeah, from what I watched from that show, I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was crazy, man. Like it was the first time I ever watched New Japan, and I was like, holy fuck, like this is crazy.
Great. I had a lot of fun time with that show. I'm gonna look back here at the spreadsheet. Yeah, there was a few great matches on that card. I put that one on the spreadsheet.
Oh but, yeah, you do that. You do. You have a separate account for your match ratings.
I do. I don't know if I'm gonna do that anymore.
Why?
Because it's kind of a lot of work. I have to go through and get all the graphics and stuff, and I might just like turn it into like I don't know, some website like a WordPress or something like that. But we'll see if I keep up with it. It's hard for me to keep up because I have to like delay watching matches and all this stuff.
I feel that. I was doing that during COVID. I was just making, it was more so just for me. I was making like list of like my favorite matches and like giving them ratings. And I was like, I fell off eventually because, you know, the world opened back up and I started, you know, going outside again.
Last year, I was very, I fell off towards the end of the year and it was very noticeable. So I was just like, all right, we're going to discard all of last year's ratings. I'm just going to say I was dumb and young. We're going to say I was dumb and young with that one. And we restarted this year. And this year I made a like concerted effort to go all over the world. I do, you know, indies and stuff, like the best matches. I want to watch them. I want to see them. And so, you know, some of the best ones are on here from anything really. I have, you know, during Mania weekend, I was watching all the indies and stuff to see if there was anything good on there. Like, I don't know, it's fun. Just it feels like an exploration of all the different things wrestling can offer. So I have fun with it.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you like what you saw, hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, maybe leave a comment for us. We'd appreciate it very much.